We had this for travel RV come in, and the owner always has it plugged in indoor storage space, and he's never had problems with the batteries, but we left it sitting outside. He said it'd be fine, we get all the switches off, but the house batteries are fine, but the start batteries are completely dead. They're down to 4 volts. So we plugged it in and let it charge for 24 hours, and it's still dead. So we got a little bit more looking into it. Does that boost button do anything? There's a boost button on the dashboard that you're supposed to be able to flip, and that'll then combine the house and the start batteries together. We put a jump pack on the start battery, see if that helps. You got the boost on?
What's that?
The boost is on?
It's on. Can I let it keep charging off the...
Okay, we got the start batteries charged enough for us to start it, and we moved it, and then we shut it off, and we let it sit for a few hours, and we went to move it into the shop, and it was completely dead again. And the master switches were all turned off.
Velcro sticky thing.
Yeah, I think that was just like Velcro to the wall, but that's a hot positive battery cable just flopping around in there. I don't think any of that's screwed. That's dangerous. Never seen a fuel filter set up like this. I don't really see how aerating the fuel before it goes into the engine is a performance increaser. There's still got to be microscopic bubbles and stuff in there, but unless maybe that's some special way of removing moisture I don't know what this is. This is new to me. So is something not right? Is it sucking air somewhere? Or is this what this device is supposed to do? I've never experienced this. This could be some new technology that I'm unaware of. So maybe one of you knows what it is. Okay, well, now we know why the ABS light is on, because the sensors have been caught up in these airbags and ripped out, and the wires are hanging down, dragging down the road for both tag axles. So there is both of them are like this on both sides. The ABS sensors are completely off. All the airbags are fairly dry rotted on here, and for safety reasons, definitely need to be replaced. Is that grasshopper in there? Changing the trans fluid and trans filters. This one actually has the taller filters than most buses. This is a brake rotor, a picture of one off of George's bus. He has those Rockwell brakes, if you remember the video series, that they're prone to sticking, that they have a crazy maintenance interval of every 6,250 miles you have to do maintenance on them because they're prone to sticking. So we want to make sure there's nothing like this on this bus. We're going to go through and inspect all the brakes. So here's the first caliper slide pin that we pulled out, and it's actually not horrible. There's absolutely nothing that you would call lube on it, but the surface isn't terrible on it, but it definitely needed maintenance. It's got some pitting starting right here, though. They sure don't want to slide on there. We're really kind of struggling to get them out. Well,
Bushings and stuff are fine. But...
I would say it's a dang good thing he brought this bus to us for maintenance. Because you can't really see this just by looking at them. You can't see that this kind of damage is done inside. You have to pull these out to see this. This is what your brakes, the caliper pinch it, slides on this. So this is why the brakes stick and start your bus on fire or, destroy the rotors. This thing is in terrible, terrible, terrible shape.
Threads on it back there. That's not out yet.
pushing on it with your finger on the back while you're turning it.
Yeah.
It works its way out.
Usually the top ones are a little easier. Go back in well.
It's not horrible compared to the other one on there. This pin did not want to move at all. You can see how rusty it is around it there. So we soaked it in penetrating oil several times and let it sit the whole weekend. And then we really whacked it with a hammer. You can see the end's a little messed up there. We're replacing it, so. But even the pin itself is very rusty in the middle. So it didn't want to come out either, but they're both getting replaced. This is the ABS line here and the connector. Looks like it used to be a straight one, but it's worn off and being dragged down the road. This was just hanging in there, dragging down the road. Jonathan's chasing where these ABS wires go to, and they're all snaked up inside like a chase in there and zip tied and electrical tape to everything, and he's been a couple hours already just trying to get them pulled out, and we're trying to find the other end so we can replace it. Thought it would be easy to just find the other end of it and unplug it and replace the cable. The manufacturer said that they were like 10 to 12 feet long, but we're like 15 feet into it, and it disappears up over the top where they go into over the plumbing bay where you can't get to it. So we're just gonna buy new ends, and even though they're heavily shielded, we're gonna replace them that way. Yeah, look how nasty this airbag is. I mean, we ordered them all to replace all of them, but this thing's wasn't long before it was going to have a major issue. My buddy Jeff made us a socket for these wheel nuts. They're normally we use a spanner wrench on them because it's got these two little studs that stick out on there. But we're always, when the spanner slips out, we hit our knuckles on the wheel studs. So this socket, he made a notch out for that little pin that sticks up so it can go either way, and we'll be able to adjust the wheel nuts properly. So the Ford Travel is a very, very large motor home. I believe these are made in Texas. Actually, I think we passed the Ford Travel manufacturing place when we recently went down to Houston. It was on the way. So we are having the problems with the start batteries completely dying on this no matter what. We have it plugged into shore power and it keeps dying. There's a switch here called Boost that's supposed to join the house batteries and the start batteries together. But the house batteries, start batteries keep dropping down to, well, they were as low as 4 volts the other day. So something is draining them seriously, even though the bus is plugged in to charge. We have all the switches off, everything off. The inverter is charging the house batteries, but it's not getting back to the start batteries. So the house batteries are fully charged. The charger here says it's on float mode. We did discover that this goes to the start batteries. That should be a fuse on there. It's not labeled, but there's nothing going through it. So either the fuse is blown or it's some kind of special diode or something. I'll take it off and look on the other side and see what it says. But if we put a little jumper wire, those little roach clips on there, this is the house side. This one's going to the start. So this will allow the trickle charge. I don't want to do it with a lot of amperage, but it did it. I just threw this on here overnight. It doesn't get warm or anything, just with because the other ones are already full. That was trickle charging the start batteries. So otherwise they're very hard to get to, but we could take, now that we know where this cable's at, we could take this cable at and charge it. The start batteries are just very, very hard. They're in a very unusual location to get to them to throw a charger on them. But we did it the other day. We charged the batteries with the charger though. And then the next day they were dead again. So that whatever the parasitic draw on it is pretty serious. So we got the new airbags going in now. That's quite a bit of work on there, but we're getting there. Everything came in, and we got the so we'll get this cleaned up. This one's got a good plug on it. This one, the wires were ripped out of it. There's supposed to be an O-ring on there that seals it up, but it's not there. But we ordered the new one for the other side. But this one just got ripped out there. These are heavily shielded and stuff too, so we just gotta be careful with that. The ABS sensor on this side, we couldn't get out without removing the hub. The one on the other side we were able to, but this one was so rusted in there and corroded, we couldn't get it out. We just pulled the hub and then we were able to get it. Luckily his rotors are all in very, very good shape. So we got the new pin kits in, everything's cleaned and lubed, and everything should slide on there. But yeah, his rotors are great. The calipers are in good shape now. We got the pins fixed, so that should last a long time. But every 6,850 miles, these are supposed to be serviced. Originally it was twice in the lifetime of the brakes, and then they realized how bad this setup is. This is the same setup that was on George's bus that was so bad. So he wanted to come in and have us check this all out, and it's a good thing we did because so many of his pins were bad. So we changed all the fuel filters. We changed the air dryer filters. We changed the hydraulic fluid and filters in here. Engine oil filters, transmission oil filters. Everything's gonna be new in there. Need to figure out why this is supported with this strap. Anybody has the same setup? Is there a bracket missing or something? So there's one bracket right here holding it. We've got a little bit of an unusual alignment right there. Obviously somebody's put this because there's a problem with this, and that's a long way to go with no brackets or anything. So I'd like to know how that originally was hooked up in there. We just ordered all new Koni shocks for it. So these are the Koni adjustable shocks. So we're replacing everything. You know, these get to be 25 years old, you really need to get in there and go through everything. So we changed the hub oil, service bearings, everything. Again, this one's got all new pin kits. Everything's lubed up, ready to go. We're gonna grease the the caliper still. There's a special procedure that we grease those with. We pull out that exhaust port on it, and then we grease them and actuate the brakes. It's very important you don't get too much grease inside of them. And use a number 1, GL1 grease. We have a special grease gun for these. Just quick show you the inside. So it's got slides on it. Looks like that TV raises up out of the cabinet that he's building in there. That'd be nice. But, I don't want to go all the way back into his private space, but just to give you an idea what it looks like. Has a nice wide seat. It's definitely wider than the driver's seat too. That's much wider than what's in my bus. Comfort. So that Orion, that's a DC to DC converter. Looks like it's 12 volt to 12 volt. So I think it's trying to charge the house. No, I don't know, but whatever that is, that thing's always on. So we got all the master switches off, the battery main switches are off, and that thing's on. So I'm thinking that's what's sucking all the power. But I don't know what it's trying to feed because the house batteries are full. But unless it's feeding back to itself or something, I don't know, but it's always on. There's no way to turn it off. That must be what the big parasitic draw is, the fact that we'll have it charged and the next day it's totally dead. Well, for something so new and pretty, the bill's gonna be pretty steep on this one, probably like 20 grand. You know, going through and changing all the fluids and servicing all the hubs and new airbags everywhere, new shocks, everything. This is a lot of work going into this one for something that's so new and pretty. Yeah, that'll be a reminder to you that buying an old bus or a motorhome is a great way to dispose of your disposable income. I am going to have a video coming up on Lenny pretty soon of an update on his remodel that's coming along really good. He's just about ready to go. We got some camping that we're going to be doing coming up here at the end of the summer.
See that white smoke rising up the holler through the trees, and from a mile away you can hear them play as they climb that hill with ease. At the top of that mountain there's a new life waiting for those who can make the run. If they can make it to the top, Scott will put them in the shop till their new life has begun. Mountain, where the buses come to run. Bus Grease Mountain, we're gonna get that big job done.